Hola! And welcome to Tinker Tailor's Solder Fry here on the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. My name is Ian Horner. I'm here to be your navigator through tonight's proceedings as we attempt to assemble some shrimp toast. But before we get into that, I want to remind you that everything that we do here on the channel is brought to you by you. Oh, hey, the old one's back. Oh, I missed you, Liz Trust's lettuce. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. That's the way we can reach into your wallets every month and grab a certain amount of money to help us do the ridiculous things that we do here on the channel. And of course, if you want to support us in other ways, we got twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun where you can watch us live and subscribe, youtube.com/loadingreadyrun where you can watch us old and subscribe, and of course, store.loadingreadyrun.com where you can pick up something nice for yourself, and it'll have our stuff on it to remind you to watch more of our videos, and therefore more of our ads. But tonight, in addition to myself, we of course always have Paul over on the ones and twos.
Hello.
How's the crystal gondole going there for you today, Paul?
Looking good. Excited for some shrimp.
Great. I'm excited to provide you with shrimp too. This is one of the first episodes I made sure to ask beforehand. Hey, Paul, do you want some of the stuff I'm making tonight? And the answer is yes. So good. We'll make enough for everyone here in the studio. But shrimp toast. Before we can discuss shrimp toast, we have to ask our.
Me too.
Yeah, I think we.
If I stick around.
I think if you stick around, we probably have enough.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Excited Beej, always a pleasure.
Just make two.
Well, funny you should mention that, Paul, because shrimp toast is one of those things that I found out about, again, thanks to, like many of you, you've probably had YouTube Reels forced upon you, or Shorts, or what, the small vertical videos that they make you watch sometimes. I have been, and shrimp toast is one of the things that's crossed my eyes, and I thought, wow, that seems delicious. So I copied the link and put it in my list of things to use for Tinker Tailor Solder Fry later, and found out that the link I copied was in fact for a different podcast, not affiliated, but a good one.
Ooh.
And so I had to do a little bit of research, and turns out shrimp toast is one of those things that there are a wide varieties of ways that you can make it, things that you can put in it, ratios and whatnot. So how are we going to square this circle? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go, again, as usual, with we're going to base things off of a recipe by our good friend Kenji Lopez, all from Serious Eats, because basically there's not much to shrimp toast other than you're going to need your shrimp. About a half pound is what they suggest.
Step one, shrimp. Step two, toast.
Look, well, 1/2 pound shrimp. I would. I think you may want to cook that in a different manner that praises the shrimp a bit more. But you need your 1/2 pound of shrimp itself, which we will. You may buy deveined or veined shrimp, as is your choice. I have chosen deveined, raw, headless, shell on, easy peeled. I love, actually, Paul, if we can just get the camera 5 here, the label on this, the deveined badge here. As if it's somehow going to be a selling feature.
You don't want your shrimp to be vain. You want your shrimp to be humble.
Yes. The humble shrimp, aware of its size and stature within the ocean-going creatures. Speaking of ocean-going creatures, you're going to need an egg. I don't know why it's speaking of ocean-going, because there's nothing about the egg. But I don't know, it's kind of the perfect submarine, isn't it? Fully sealed.
Yes, egg from the chicken of the sea.
Yes. Well, we'll only need the egg white for that. We will need some soy sauce. Cleaned off my soy sauce bottle just for you, chat. You're going to need...
fancy. Is that a custom bottle that you fill with soy sauce, or is that a brand of, like, I know Kikokoman soy sauce, but is that a special Hello Kitty brand?
Yes, this is in fact Kikoman did a limited edition soy sauce bottle. God, it has to be at least 5 years back because it got sent into. We got this bottle via our subscription to Tokyo Treat.
Oh, really?
Yes, and the bottle stayed in the office without being opened for over 2 years. And I thought, you know what? Time for someone to have some soy sauce, and that person is me. And so now we have a clean pink soy sauce bottle.
Nice. Yeah. Did you use the 2-year-old soy sauce that was in it first?
Oh yes, it was fully sealed. So the soy sauce, it being a fermented and highly salted thing, it's a preservative of itself.
I mean, I love Tokyo Treat Box, gives all sorts of fun stuff. I would argue that just a bottle full of soy sauce is not like the best kind of treat.
Yeah. But that said, I mean, it's as a piece of limited edition merchandise, and the Kikoman bottle is such an iconic design that it's kind of nice.
If you're doing this at home, you can substitute non-Hello Kitty soy sauce.
Yes. I do have my previous bottle of Kikoman that I used to distribute various fluids for model making, though, as well, because it's just a nice fluid container that you can just pour out of easily. But yeah, soy sauce. We're going through ingredients. You'll need only 2 teaspoons of that. You're going to need a couple scallions, which I have washed earlier because we have no running water here in Studio C. So we have those. Nothing too strange about that. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of cilantro. You do you on that. I like cilantro myself. Some people, have the soap gene. Personally, I like to soak my my cilantro in a bit of dish soap before I serve it, so that everyone at the table gets to feel like they're important, and that they have that gene.
Might as well make it taste like soap for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No one feels left out that way. So we've got those. You can use ramps if you've got them too. We don't. They're not in season where we are. The garlic shoots. You're going to need 2 teaspoons cornstarch. That's going to be part of your binder with the shrimp. Shrimp's going to be very bindy by itself because it's such a sticky meat, but cornstarch will always help out with that. You're going to need some sesame oil to go in just to add a bit more delicious flavor to the inside of the meat. You're going to need a garlic clove, which means we're going to use more than 1 garlic clove because that's what you do when garlic is suggested in a recipe. You're going to need some sandwich bread. I did my best today to find shokupan, the Japanese white bread, which is best for this sort of thing because you're making a square or triangular piece and you want those nice sides. But this was the closest I could find. There was shokupan available, but I didn't feel like I'd be able to eat a loaf that is this long and cost $14 before it went moldy.
That's such a long loaf.
It is, but I think they're meant for commercial applications or large families.
I believe, actually, speaking of YouTube shorts, I think like a couple days ago I saw a YouTube short about how to make shokupan.
Oh, wow.
It's got everything.
Yeah. All the recipes in under 30 seconds. We got the bread. Okay. And here's where we start to get optional. Sesame seeds. Want a half cup, okay, of toasted sesame seeds. So we're going to need to toast these up ourselves. And then, of course, the frying oil. Reused from our last fry adventure, I believe this is at least.
Now,
Yep.
Now, when you proposed this, I was like, should we get the little toaster oven that we have in the kitchen and bring it out here? And you're like, no. Foolish me assumed that shrimp toast would involve toasting.
And that's something I've seen in the myriad of recipes that I've seen. Is some people suggest that yes, toast the bread beforehand. Some people suggest put the bread in your oven and toast it a little bit, and then just keep it on and get all of the water out. But the versions that I've chosen, the Q2, just toss it into boiling oil and let it cook in there. And as a person who was a big fan of fried bread as a kid, boy, was that a treat whenever it happened. And there's a reason I don't eat it more than once a year, if that. It is a delicious and decadent treat, shall we say. So adding that with a big thick portion of sweet shrimp paste with garlic and cilantro, I cannot wait to see what that tastes like. So here's the deal. What we're going to do is we're going to chop up these. You're going to want to get your shrimp. You'll shell them and devein them, get them nice and clean, and then you're going to chop them all up into a nice little paste. Then we're going to add two of these scallions minced up. Again, chopped cilantro and the garlic all together with the egg. Mix it all up in a bowl. And then we're going to cut the crusts off the bread and spread on some shrimp. Cover it over, so you have a covered. What did I call it earlier? Covered toast.
I believe an enclosed toast.
Yes, thank you. Enclosed toast.
I.e. a sandwich.
Yeah, and then we'll cut that into a triangle so you can see the insides and enjoy the flavor as you do it. You can make a sauce with it too if you like. They all seem to be mayo and chili based, and I'm not a big. I like to taste that shrimp fry just straight up.
It's as you're explaining the process behind this, I am definitely realizing that my conception of what this would be like. I was like, shrimp toast. I've had that. That's like, shrimp toasted on
toast.
top of bread.
Yeah.
But this is a whole different deal.
Something different entirely.
I was thinking, like, my perception was something like a tuna melt, but with shrimp instead of tuna.
Right. So it would be closer to like just a toasted bread with shrimp inside.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
But this sounds really tasty.
Yeah, it looks tasty. I have not tried it yet because, as we say, this is a let's try program. We'll find out if it works.
It's against the spirit of the thing to actually like test it at home before you.
Most times I like to do a little test sometimes, but this seems like a simple enough cook to be able to just dive right in. So here's the twist, though, is that there does not seem to be a definitive answer, at least in terms of the places I've run into, as to how you're finishing your shrimp toast. I suggested already that you were going to enclose it and make it sandwich style, but a lot of the recipes suggest going in a different direction, which is to say you cut the crusts off your bread again, so you've got the edge. Some people leave the crusts on, and those people are monsters. But you can.
Are you anti-crust sandwiches for sandwiches in general?
Oh no! For sandwiches, I'll leave the crust on. It's part of the bread. It's nice. But for a fancy thing like this is definitely a crust off situation. Making Japanese sandwiches with their peanut butter, that's also a good crust off situation. Just it cleans things up, and you don't have texture mismatch around the edges. And of course, if you're worried about waste, you can always use those, pulse those crust ends in your food processor, or chop them up, and you can put them in the air fryer or your oven and make good croutons. So you don't have to waste the things. And in fact, I might do that. Again, also, some recipes suggest that you dump all your stuff into a food processor and just pulse until it's done. And that sounds like a great idea if I had a food processor and wanted to finish this stream in 20 minutes. But we'll be hand chopping ours, and Kenji specifically suggests that he prefers the hand chop version because you get the bigger chunks of shrimp meat mixed throughout things rather than a homogeneous shrimp lump in the middle. But here's the split. The big split is: do you cover and have bread on both sides, or do you open face as triangles that are dipped in the sesame sauce. And I don't know which is better, and that's hopefully something that we're going to find out tonight.
I wonder if that. Do you think that's like a regional thing?
You're very possibly correct on that. I never like to judge based on just looking at people, without using language specifically as my hint to where people are from. But I get the feeling that there's that the sesame topped version is more popular in Chinese and Taiwanese dim sum style applications, or the full square with the large puffy chocopan bread is more of a Japanese style. Again, this is just me speculating, but that seemed to be the from the low data points I had where they came from. So, let's get things started here and start chopping some vegetables. I guess is the easiest thing to do. So let's get our bowl where we're going to put things. And everything just gets mixed up all at once, so there's no rhyme or reason as to which side we should go with here. But I think getting the vegetables out of the way is probably the best thing to do, because they can be cut with just regular clean hands. And then that way we don't have to do anything else with some gloves. So let's grab ourselves here. We want 4 scallions, and we want them extremely thinly sliced. Well,
Now, is shrimp particularly, not dangerous, but like raw chicken or whatever, you wouldn't want to cut on the same cutting board as your vegetables usually?
generally not. I mean, it is a meat, so it is going to be. There's going to be potential for things to grow on it. I don't think there's any sort of meat that's sterile. But on the other hand, people do eat raw fish and raw shrimp. That said, this is frozen stuff that's been defrosting for a number of hours. It's going to be fine, but I wouldn't want to just rub my raw vegetables that would go into my mouth. Everything's going to be cooked too, as well, in the end.
Right, of course.
Yeah. So we're not going to have to worry too much about that. I like to use the ugliest scallions first, because they're the ones that will generally go off the fastest. Let's go ahead and...
Not a lot of chicken sashimi out there. It's not a... I've heard that it is something that has been done, but it does not sound like a great idea.
No, it's one of those things where I think I'd like to... I would have to have a very high level of trust with whoever is running that operation before I decided to try chicken sashimi.
It also just doesn't sound very good, but I mean, not that I've eaten raw chicken, but I've smelled raw chicken.
I mean, Corey and I did have some raw horse while we were in Japan, which was nice. One of those things, again, if you're at a restaurant, it's available to try. You've got to try it, because when else are you going to have that opportunity? And it was nice, mixed with some yellow egg yolk. Ooh. Just did a sharpen of my knives before coming in today, and that feels really good. Okay, there you are. Where the fourth one hit.
You don't use the top part of the...
Oh, you do, but I cut them at different rates in different ways. The whites you can really get in there and get a really fine slice on them. But they react slightly different than the greens.
I'm trying to formulate something about don't stab until you see the whites of their chives.
Oh, I like that.
Not quite sure how it works.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting how interesting it is to cut from a sitting position. Okay, go back to the paw there, as we're getting close to the blade. And just slice that bit there. Okay, so we don't need to mince these so much as just slice them thinly, so that's going to be fine. And it's all going to get mixed up again in the final countdown. I even brought the wooden cutting board out. We're not even going to use it. Probably.
It's just for show.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, you really need to get your wrist up there.
The overhead cooking with the overhead shot always reminds me of hearing about the first time that they figured out how to do that for Julia Child. That was like one of the big innovations in her cooking show. Of course, back in the day, a television camera was not something you would hang from the ceiling. So they had a mirror. They would position a mirror above the stage.
Yeah, I seem to remember mentioning that at some point, because that's something that I had in my junior high school in the home economics room. Was, again, a mirror over top of the demonstration kitchen.
I feel like we probably talked about this last time there was cooking on this.
Yeah. It's still very, very cool, the innovations that...
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yep.
And the idea that people would, it was sort of this innovative idea that, like, hey, people would want to see the food.
Yeah, and how your hands are being manipulating and whatnot. Because, yeah, that could have been one of those places that gave one of those shows that gave people a real view into knife technique for the first time.
Yeah.
Mirror is safer, yes, than a 300-pound camera, but also cheaper. And you can point the camera at Julia when you're not pointing down at it. All right, 3 cloves of garlic seems like a good amount for us there.
I wonder if that would actually, if there'd be an advantage to doing that for, like, magic games and stuff, rather than, overhead cameras are so easy to have now, but I wonder if there's, even if anyone's tried to do it with a mirror and like a studio camera. We could use like our big Ursa or something.
I think it's one of those cases where if you're setting up the cameras are a lot cheaper now than they used to be.
It's true. I mean, and a lot smaller. Of
yes.
course.
Yeah. I think people's perception of what is an acceptable level of quality in a broadcast are a bit higher now too. But for those looking to save a little cash, that might not be a bad idea. Okay.
I mean, especially in the context of cooking, it's all about the sort of the beauty shots of the food and stuff, right?
All right. My cheap dollar store microplane, which does the job, but not fancy and certainly not sharp anymore. But I definitely prefer microplaning as my method of most often making garlic. Because it really opens up the flavor in a way that crushing or dicing just doesn't get all the way.
Yeah. I should. I just have like, I've got like the standard like cheese grater with all the different sides, that has like, different amounts of grating on it, and it's almost it's sort of bad. It's like mediocre at all of them.
Yeah.
And then once you sort of grate stuff, like half of it is sort of stuck up inside the whole thing.
Yeah. There. It's one of the box graters you've got, I'm guessing then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the IKEA cheese grater that I have has, I guess, escaped containment within their Chinese manufacturing facilities because they've got that same model now at the dollar store for $5, which seems like a good time to pick up a new version, actually. The silicone on the bottom that keeps it gripped in place on your countertop, which is, again, great for grating cheese, on mine is starting to come apart after many, many years. Decades even, I think, at this point. All right, let's grab ourselves some cilantro here. Let's go mainly leaves, because, well, yeah, leaves makes the most sense. So we're looking at a loosely packed quarter thing here. I mean, what do we want to just, do we want to double? No, we're not going to double the recipe. That would be insanity. A bit more. The rest of it can go in the compost. All right, and let's just roughly chop that up there. Terrible, terrible rocking technique, but hey. We're in an odd position. All right, let's get that into the thing. Clean off that blade a bit so that we're not sticking to everything. Okay, and we'll just... Great.
It's true. I'm only realizing, sort of, as you're doing this, that every cooking program has the person is standing while they're doing it. Sitting while cooking is actually kind of weird.
It really is a weird thing. In fact, because yeah, I even do it when I'm doing the home streams. I'm perfectly standing all the time. Perfectly standing? What does that even mean? I'm perfectly standing like a human being would. Don't worry about me. I'm just like you, upright. Well, I guess we have to get into the shrimp now, don't we? Because that's the last thing on the. Well, nope. There's egg as well. Actually, let's take stock of what we've got in there. So we don't have the shrimp, we don't have the egg white, we don't have the soy sauce. We've got the scallions. Let's start from the top and just add things in as we need. Shrimp, no. We'll get there. Egg, yes. It's egg time. It is egg time. Actually, there. Now this is something I can do by hand. Do not bust this up, Ian. Ooh, there we go. Oh man,
This is
separation.
separation.
Yep. Church and state.
Engage. Saucer separation.
Well, it brings some saucers, so I guess we're there. All right, there's just a little bit more white in there. Let's get you over into that. And I think that's good. Leave it in the shell there. Don't know what we're gonna do with that, but maybe we'll, I don't know, maybe I'll make a bowl of rice for myself later and bukkake some tamago. That's a real term, by the way. Do not.
I mean, I know it's a real term.
It just means to scatter, to spray, which is tamago bukkake gohan. Or as they're trying to market it in Japan, TKG, tamago kake gohan. It's just a rice with a raw egg on top, and you mix it up and maybe add some soy sauce, and it's delicious. You should give it a try. If you trust your eggs. If you don't, don't. But I trust my eggs. Egg white. In. Complete. Next is a little bit of wipe there. Get some errant egg white. To 2 teaspoons the soy sauce. Well, that's a dry, or that's a wet, so let's just prep that. 2 teaspoons cornstarch. That's a dry. Let's get our dries first before we get our wets, because otherwise you have to clean and then dry your measurements. You can absolutely eat raw eggs in North America. You just have to be safe about it.
There's that thing of, that in North America we refrigerate our eggs because they get washed or whatever, and that loses their protective coating or something.
It's mostly about keeping your eggs from touching the outside of the egg. The inside of the egg is okay.
Keep your eggs from touching egg.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Okay. Yeah, I won't say there's zero danger, but that's a danger that you are responsible enough to try on your own. Do not. Yeah. God, we need it. We need a disclaimer on this show. Okay, we've got the cornstarch. Let's go back for the soy sauce here. 2 teaspoons of that.
When I was a kid and a teenager, we would like, if you had a situation where you're, doing the egg raw, like in a smoothie, or I don't know, for whatever reason you had to raw it, you would run it under like really hot water for. I don't know if that actually did anything, but then we'll kill the stuff on the outside. It'll be fine. I feel like that probably didn't do anything, but we felt good. We felt better about it.
Yeah. We need the cilantro leaves. We've got those. And then we're down to finally the sesame oil, and then that's it outside of the optional things. Okay, so let's oil it up.
And the shrimp.
Yes, of course, and the shrimp.
That is not optional.
It's kind of right there in the name. There we go. And just give it a wipe because we might need it again. Okay, that is our part of our sauce, and already that smells amazing. I almost want to hit that with a little bit of white pepper, but I didn't bring any with me today, so it's unfortunate.
I mean, to be honest, like thinking about the ingredients that went into there, I mean, I would say most of those are just like that would be just like a good base for like a ton of different things. It's just like, you got your garlic, you got your scallions, you got your, all the different things. You put that in a stir fry, put that in a different, that's sort of like just a nice umami base.
Yeah, it's very similar, I think, to what you'd put into a what do you call it, gyoza filling as well. All right, so we're only going to use about half these shrimp because that's where we're at. That's what the recipe calls for. But I neglected to bring my scale with me, so we're just going to have to count the shrimp off, I guess. Maybe put some back. Ooh, okay, we're going to lift those shrimp out with our glorious shrimp lifters, because they be moist, folks. Ooh, good shrimp smell. Also, this way I can maybe reduce some of the water remaining in this bag. In you go. All right, so how many do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3, 4 there. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2. 1, 2, and 1. Great! Put that in my own basket so we don't get anything on the floor. Guess it's time to clean these shrimp. I have now dedicated to finishing this beer before I take these gloves off.
It's a difficult job, but somebody's got to do it.
And I know people are often curious. This is Small Gods Brewing out of the local area here, in a collaboration with a local restaurant called the House of Boteng. It's a spiced mango dark lager with huge notes of ginger in the spice and mango flavor too.
Wow.
Well, the flavor of mangoes because they used mangoes.
Ah, that sounds fancy.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Just a little bit of burn on the tongue and a little bit of sweetness, and then just dark aftertaste.
And I mean, mango and ginger feels like that goes really well with shrimp anyway. So you're already in the right area.
Yep.
Shrimp beer might not be so good.
I get the feeling. Well, no, I was going to say I get the feeling that fermented shrimp is not such a great thing. And then I remembered the Romans. There we go. That's me thinking about the Roman Empire for the day. And the sauce of garum, which is essentially just fermented. Well, not just, but fermented shrimp among with other things for an extremely umami flavor bomb sauce, not akin to or not unlike Thai fish sauce.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought fish sauce had certain types of it had shrimp in it.
I think it might as well. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what goes into fish sauce, but I do like it. I mean, on things that I put fish sauce on. It's not like I pour a bowl of Lucky Charms and drown it in fish sauce in the morning.
Although,
yeah, I'm not stopping you. If you want to have your own Let's Try in the morning, go nuts. Wow, I should use gloves for peeling shrimp more often. And of course, if you like, you can save your shrimp carcasses, or at least the shells themselves, and you can use those to make yourself some stock. I've done that a couple times with some of these spot prawns that we get here locally. They are unfortunately not in season and not available during the week either. Otherwise, that would have been a good idea. Get some fresh from local seas shrimp for it.
these were deveined but not detailed.
Yes, which is fine. Easy peel is, I believe, what the marketing term they use for it.
It is an odd thing. Like, there isn't that many other foods or that it's like there's the the raw or the version that it comes out of the ocean. You have to devein, peel, take off the head, take off the tail and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can go to the store and buy shrimp at sort of any stage in the process.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like you would ever want to like have veined shrimp in a meal. Like, you always have to do the rest of the process.
That's always the part of it.
So it's like, how much work do you want to do before you get to eat the shrimp? We stopped halfway through so you could do the rest, the second half.
Well, that makes me think, though, because there are a lot of people who will go about the aspect of keeping the heads on for barbecuing, and I don't know. I think there are shrimps that you might not need to devein, and I think spot prawns might be some of them, because I know the last time I bought spot prawns. I didn't devein them, and they were delicious directly off the barbie.
Ah.
So, yeah.
I mean, vein is a euphemism, right?
Yes, it absolutely is. I believe it's
the like intestine or
yeah,
the,
it's
like,
the digestive tract.
It's the pooper.
Yeah, you're getting it out of there because you don't want to eat what they ate, but
Maybe those particular prawns were, fed a diet of whatever, honey or something.
well, but that's what you do with snails before you cook them or harvest them. Is you feed them on a diet of lettuce for a couple days, specifically to get the grit out of their system.
Oh, okay.
So that you're because there's no deveining a snail.
I mean, on the subject of shrimp preparation, I do one of my annoyances with. I mean, this happens a lot, but in other stuff too. But particularly, it comes up all the time, like in tempura or whatever. That tempura shrimp usually have the tail. It's like why. Or and often shrimp in stir fries or whatever. It's like. Why did you leave this chunk of not edible stuff in my food? I have to now have a little pile of tails.
So I have I have an answer for that actually, Paul. And it's in the stir fry situation. It's because that tail section. Remember what I was saying earlier about using the shells to make stock. The shells add a lot of flavor to whatever you're cooking at the time, and when it comes to tempura. You should be eating those tails. They're fried and delicious and crunchy.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Have you never eaten a deep fried shrimp tail before?
I know. That's just a part of the shrimp that is not the eating part.
They are 100% edible. Yeah. And quite delicious. There's a little bit of meat back there too, and then the chitin just kind of crunches up with the batter.
I mean, there are a lot of things that are edible that I don't eat.
Yeah.
Be like if they if you got like egg, you got tamago or something, and there was just like the eggshell in there too.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you probably can eat that, but that's just not part of the thing.
A little bit of a different story there, but yeah. Yeah, it's not something everybody does or you're expected to do in the culture, but it is absolutely one of the things that's allowed. But I think that started for me when the few times I went to Red Lobster as a child to eat their endless shrimps when they were briefly available up here. That I would always crack that back end open that's that's next to the fan, but they keep the shell on for some reason all the time, because like that's an extra centimeter of delicious shrimp meat that's just going to waste otherwise. And then one day I discovered that I just bite the whole thing. I get all the benefits with a little bit of crunchy extra. So I did not bring two knives to do the choppy with, but just pretend that we did. All right, let's paste it up. Gee, I think the main reason for that is that all of my other knives are too weirdly unbalanced with this one. Let's get in the hole. It's a little bit hard to get the rhythm.
You don't want to have like a long knife and a short knife. Your katana and your wakizashi.
Oh, you gotta have the wakizashi if you fail to fry things properly. You're telling me a shrimp seppuku'd this? Okay, this is starting to look like a paste I would feed myself. There are some chunks in there that look nice. paste is really starting to come together here. That's great. Okay. Ah, I found out where I have failed myself.
Uh-oh.
It's not a full failure, but it is a case of I will need to take that break before we can finish cutting things. Because I did forget to cut something that was dry.
Ah.
That is currently wet, and that would be the bread.
Oh, right. I was like, it's a pre-sliced, but you want to cut the...
Yeah. Well, we'll need to cut it into... We're going to need to cut it into quarters, triangular quarters for some of them, and just cut the crust off for the rest. But that's... there we go.
you do have that with a wooden
Cutting board, yes. Knife, not so much.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. All right. But we can at least give this a good mix here. Do one more drink of that. And get it all ready to go. Do not be afraid to get your hands into these things. Oh, that smells amazing right now.
Do you usually wear the gloves when you're cooking at home? Or?
No. The gloves are here so that I can take them off and continue to work without having to wash my hands in between.
Right.
If I'm working at home, I'll just go over to the sink and do a quick wash. Usually, I've got a towel over my my left shoulder too for that reason. Okay. That's looking pretty goopy.
Again, I could imagine this, obviously we're making the shrimp toast or whatever, but I can imagine this would also be a tasty filling for some sort of dumpling or a pot sticker or something like that too.
Yeah, I bet we could really make some interesting hargows with this. The crystal dumpling. Okay, there is some good meat on there, so let's scrape that off. I'll leave no part left behind. And we'll need something to get it onto the toast too. I'm not going to use my hands for that. That said, I think we are at a good point here for this. But before we go take a break, we're going to do one more thing because we need to toast our sesame seeds as well. And that is checking over here. Have I done everything with shrimp? Yes, I have. Good. So we can remove the gloves. And make a little mess. Pick up some of these things. And yeah, let's toast some sesame seeds. So it wants how many sesame seeds? The correct whole number amount of sesame seeds? No, we're going to do...
First, look at the thing and guess how many sesame seeds are in there.
Half cup. Because this is something I've never tried before. That's a lot of sesame seeds.
I mean, this is almost like a crust of sesame seeds, right?
Yes.
Rather than just like a sprinkling.
Yes, absolutely. Is what that is. I think the last time I fried sesame seeds for a recipe, it was 2 tablespoons. So this is going to be something new. Thank goodness for cast iron being compatible with induction.
I do feel like non-toasted sesame seeds tend to be more of like a textural thing than having that strong a flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you toast them, they get all nice and toasty, I guess you would call it.
You really only make the mistake once of buying regular sesame seed oil versus the toasted sesame seed or roasted sesame seed oil, as the flavor is very different. But these sesame seeds are getting a little bit old too, so thankfully the toasting revives them a bit. But we'll see. We're just gotta shake that around until we start hearing some popping sounds. So that's when you know it's toasted. I love how instantly hot these things can get too.
It is an interesting spatula.
Yes, miniature turner. I guess useful for cakes and whatnot. I was initially bringing it here for the purposes of spreading the toast, or the shrimp stuff over the toast, but it's a spatula that I have, so it'll do the job here too. Oh, here we go. Yeah, just heard one go pop there.
It's a pretty quick process.
Yep. They're very small seeds, Paul.
I thought maybe the aggregate mass
Might have some thermal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you.
Also, I'm used to I've got my stove at home is like one of the sort of glass top, just regular stove. So heating like a cast iron pan.
Oh yeah, that's 2 minutes before you've got
takes a couple
heat.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a couple minutes before you're sort of getting anywhere. So you're sort of heating your element heats the glass, then the glass heats your pan.
Yep. Thankfully, I've managed to learn the vagaries of my own glass top cook surface, but it takes a while.
I'm starting to smell that in here.
Oh, it's wafted. Oh, well, we lost a few sesame seeds. I think this is probably good. Let's taste a couple there. Just about. Yeah, 355 was definitely the temperature for this to go. And that's where we're going to be with our oil too once we get it there, but we don't want these to burn, so I think we're just about done here. And I'm going to call it. Let's get that on the trivet. Turn off you. Wipe up some of these seeds.
Oh man. That's so weird to take something off 300 degree and then and then wipe the surface with a paper towel.
It is still a little bit hot there, but the underside is completely cool. It's weird how these things work. All right, I need to wash this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take ourselves a short break, get up, stretch our fluids, swap our legs, etc., and wash our cutting board and knife. And then we'll be back with more Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, in which we fry. We actually get to do the fry portion, our shrimp toast, and decide which of the methods we prefer: a triangle sesame or enclosed sandwich style. Don't go all the way away. We'll be right back. Irashai, and welcome once again to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, where we're making shrimp toast. Well, at least we've made a filling for shrimp toast, and now it's time for us to get closer to the closer to the metal in terms of doing the toast itself. It's time to fry, which is it's right in the name, right there and there. How many logos do we have around here for this? So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare our fry station, which we got over here. We'll bring it over into the main area once we are ready to fry. But we need other parts of the fry station. You need the beginning, which is where we're going to start. Bread. Bread needs to be a part of anything that is toasted. It's the law. It's in the dictionary. Is it? What is the definition? Does the Oxford, and I'm specifically asking the Oxford dictionary, does the definition of toast specifically reference bread?
Hang on, I'm checking.
Sorry, Paul. A lot easier on the Mac OS, but...
Toast. As a substance, with or without plural, bread so browned by fire, electric heat, etc.
Huh.
And then toast. So that's toast as a noun.
Yeah, as a noun, which
and
is...
then toast as a verb, which is to brown bread, cheese, etc. by exposure to the heat of a fire, etc.
Wow. Bread and cheese. That's an interesting one. I would not have expected cheese to be the toastiness. Right. So we're going to cut off the edges of this bread. Might as well do it piece by piece. Not for any particular reason other than that it's easier that way. Crustless, uncrustable.
Apparently, a toast is also a specific reggae term for an improvised rhythmic speech or recorded rhythm track or instrumental version of a I mean, it sounds like a
A rap?
yeah, like
A little bit.
or a like a freestyle.
Yeah. Let's stick it up there. Okay. Hey, oh, hey, slidey works better. Can I slide around the edge there? I can. Ho ho.
I just realized that you toast sesame seeds, and then you can bread things with toasted sesame seeds.
Yes. Wow. Oh, wow. Breading. That's got to be my new favorite difficult to explain to anyone English term. It's like you can bread it, but you don't have to use bread. And what does the breading do? Well, it coats something for frying. So you're not making bread with it. No. Yes, these are looking very nice. I will definitely have to make some interesting croutons, or I don't know, maybe just even a toast sticks. Ooh, heck yeah! Fry these bad boys up, get some soft-boiled eggs, and go to town with the toast soldiers.
Although now I kind of like the idea of just like weirdly long, thin breads or croutons.
Croutons. That's yeah. As a salad addition. Boy, am I glad I sharpened my knife today. This would not be going nearly as smoothly otherwise. Okay, and the best part is I don't need to cover these pieces of bread if I'm going to make them into croutons later, because drying them out just helps the process. But I'm trying to retain as much of the white bread itself, because slices be small, yo. I think... Oh, go ahead.
Just the other thing that I have learned from this Oxford English Dictionary page on toast is that toast as a verb existed for about 50 years before they just called toasted bread toast.
Really?
As toast as the noun came later.
So it was toasted bread for 50 years, and then, look, we could just call it toast. We're not toasting anything else, people.
And then it wasn't until 1700, so like 300 years later, that toast, as in like something, giving a toast at a party or
Right,
something,
giving a speech of some sort.
came about.
Wow. I would love to hear the history of how that came about as a like how toast in the party term came about, to use that term.
Oh, actually, no, wait. Here, 1700 is toast, as in a person whose health is proposed and drunk to. So, like the toast of the town.
Ah.
Toast, as in a type of long narrative poem recited extemporaneous, which I'm assuming means toast, as in like at a party, is not till 1960.
Really?
Apparently.
Interesting.
Before that, people were just like, get drunk and say things.
That's amazing.
Apparently. Also, toast has... It's one of those words that you sort of go, oh yeah, that does have like a weirdly large number of meanings that are very different from each other.
Well, then you've got the web dev term for notifications that pop up sometimes, I guess. I've never really understood what a toast is.
Yeah, it's notifications that pop up as in like a toaster.
That's okay. Thank you. That's what's been bothering me as to why it's called a toast. Because I thought it was they were using the term toast in the sense of the party term of like, here's a small speech to someone to let you know that the thing is happening.
It's like it's if the notification is a piece of bread
coming
that is
up,
lifting up and then going back down.
Wow. I'm loving the number of people in chat right now who are also just getting that too.
I want to be clear that I do not, as somebody who does do web development, I do not defend that definition. But that is what it means.
I mean, look, we've got to deal with hamburger menus. What are they calling the dongos? Some people call them dongos. Some people call them meatballs. You've got the shawarma button. It's
I don't know what the shawarma button is.
I've heard shawarma referred to as the it's like a hamburger menu, but concave down. Like a shawarma meat.
I have not heard that. That's great.
All right. Life hack for you. If you like to fry, and I know you do, and you should do it at home because it's great. It makes good food, and the oil doesn't get in if you keep things hot enough. But oil still remains on the outside of whatever you're frying, and you want it to go off. You don't want it to go off. If your oil is going off, know where your fire extinguisher is. I'm still not 100% sure in this building, but you want to get your oil off because otherwise the surface oil is going to soak in and it's going to make your food a little bit less pleasant. So this is a hack that I learned from a certain famous. Well, Alton Brown's politics are not great, but at least he did some very good science communication. And one of the things he did was come up with this method of your fry station finishing, which is most people will do this, or not even have a grate. They'll just have your paper towels to soak the oil. Good start. Add a rack. That's even better. You can get some cooling going on underneath, and maybe some of that oil might drip through and go away. Even better, now you have the fried item making minimal contact, but still making contact with the paper underneath. And what that does is it will wick away the oil better, but keeping it off the oil just a bit with the grate keeps it nice and crisp and less oily. So, yeah. that's the fry hack that I bring today. And yeah. So let's, I guess, start making our shrimp toasts. Let's start with a couple of the filled sandwiches for Paul and I, and we can use the remainder of these pieces for the triangulars. So let's bring on over our.
Is the triangular shape important?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's just that it makes it slightly bite-sized more than than a full sandwich. I mean, because a bunch of fried bread is not a light snack. But these look good, so let's start by.
There's an excellent takeout place downtown here that does like a butter chicken with fried bread.
That sounds very good.
It is very delicious. Just the thing to sop up that extra butter chicken sauce.
So we're just going to spread that over top there, nice and even. That's a nice coat, I think. Maybe just get a little bit there. This is my first time using this offset spatula, by the way, and I'm already in love with it for spreading gooey bits.
Is there a recommended thickness?
No, and again, that's something that I've seen varied amongst the various YouTubers doing this recipe. Some people will pile it an inch high, and some people will just make it this small amount. I'm attempting to split the difference. I'm taking about an eighth worth of by eye out of here to make this first one, just to make sure we've got some good hefty boys with some flavor in there. And then we're going to take the side of the offset spatula and just make sure that nothing's peeking out the edges, like so. And I guess we'll just leave it. Yeah, we'll put it on the Yowie paddle. There we go. All right, big shrimp number 2.
I mean, I guess it also, like, if you were putting it in, like, a food processor and getting it really smooth, then theoretically you could, spread it out really thin if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, you might even be able to get it into a piping bag, to be honest. But I think that's that wouldn't add anything to this procedure. I think what we've got is very good. And I'm just going to add a bit more to that. It seems a bit thin. This one's going to be a bit thicker, I think. But it's looking good. Okay, let's get that top piece on.
I like Marvel says, I assume you want the paste layer less thick than the bread layer. But, I mean, measuring it, relative to your bread layer is probably not the worst idea. Mm-hmm. Like, half as thick as your bread or something like that.
Yeah, like you've been, that's a good suggestion. That's not what I've seen at all in these. It's one of those things where people just like it really good and thick. So let's...
It's like those delis where they get the sandwiches with like 3 sandwiches worth of meat on them.
I'm going to try one here that's going to be super thick. Mm-hmm. Well, not super thick, but thicker. Why am I using this thing? I shouldn't be using that thing. I should be using the the piece. Okay. Yeah, it seems a bit thicker. I don't know if that is or not. I don't think we're going to have a bad experience in any way here, but I'm curious to see how the thickness affects the taste. And also potentially how it affects the cooking time too is going to be interesting.
Right, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because some of these open-faced ones are going to be, well, they're going to be open-faced, and you're going to be frying that shrimp directly in the oil.
This is probably not something you want, like, medium rare or something.
No, I think you want full cut, no matter what. Okay, these ones we're going to cut into triangles. So I start from the top, and then we go the other direction. These are just, yeah, these are definitely bite-sizey versus a I guess, closer to a meal snack. Wow. Yeah, why would people even do this?
I mean, maybe you want to put the stuff on first and then, I don't know.
Again, that's the recipe says do it this way.
All right.
But I think yeah, that felt like that might have been the right decision. But oh no, this is looking kind of what I expected to. Okay, and we're just gonna let these be as they are, and then we'll dip them just before tossing them in. Ooh, yeah. I think I prefer the full-sized ones already. Just from
Certainly less messy to set up.
yeah, I'm not going to do too many of these. I think I might just give up on these, and once we've got 3 of them, so that everyone can have a toasted sesame version to compare with.
Now here's a question. You said I'm going to cut them into triangles. But of course, because of the geometry of a triangle, cutting it in half, on the diagonal would also cut it into triangles. And then 4. But basically, however, you can cut it into as small triangles. If you just, every time you cut it, it makes more small triangles.
Yep. Can't stop with the triangles. It's triangles all the way down, is what it is. All right, we'll do just one more here to clean it up a little bit. Put a small amount of shrimpy, garlicky, oniony paste on top.
Heck, I can imagine this as like ravioli filling.
Ooh.
To go. I mean, that takes it away from the sort of Asian influence, but
though considering the origins of pasta, does it?
Does it?
Yeah, the thing about Marco Polo is that he really just hated shrimp. One more. Oh, wow. I completely forgot that Corey's out of town. I don't have to make one for her. There we go. And that side there. We'll definitely be using one of those little soldiers as a test bed for our oil temperature.
You just send Corey a message being like, if you were here, you could be eating this shrimp toast.
Oh yeah, she loves those. Interesting counterpoint though. All of the YouTubers I saw doing this decided to cut their bread straight across the top, and I find that at least wasteful. You can absolutely do a curve cut without too much effort. Okay, this is our last one, so let's use the scraper, get it all out. And if anything, this is going to be our thick boy.
Nice.
Let's put that on the ground because that's it for that. Scrape that out. Okay. Spread that. Oh, that is a nice thick toast. Bloop. Let's not fry this one first so that we don't mess up our internal calibrations for how long these things take to cook. I'd also...
Do we need something to sort of keep it keep the two pieces all together, or is the shrimp stuff is sort of gluing it together is the hope?
The shrimp stuff should be gluey enough for it to go together, which is partially why you add that that cornstarch to it, because that really sticks it up.
Right, right.
All right, let's put these down here, and let's move this up here. Let's start with the open-faced ones, because I think those are going to be the easiest to gauge when they're done, and they're the ones I care the least about, because I want them.
You've really turned on the open face sesame.
I
ones.
have chosen my champion, and my champion is big closed.
Yeah, I feel like the process of putting the shrimp stuff on the triangle sandwiches was so annoying that it has now completely tainted the sandwich for you.
Well, it's just the small ones. They were the only issue, and those are the ones I was skeptical of to begin with. The reason I'm doing them, I'm doing this sort of a cook-off against the two versions, is that I could not find a definitive number of videos or recipes saying that one is definitively better than the other.
Now, the original video that inspired this whole thing was the sandwich style?
Yes. Yeah. And as I was mentioning earlier, we'll get to it when it comes up. But for now, let's make hot go 355 style.
Do we need a cover for the oil?
Oh, no, it should be fine. That was why I went back to the kitchen the last time, was to dry the water out of the inside of this pot. If you are going to be boiling oil, make sure that the pot is dry before you add the oil. And I don't think we're not even going to be boiling the oil. We're going to 355 degrees Celsius, which is good. That's a good temperature, because what that will do is boil the water out of whatever it is that you're putting into the fryer. And I actually think we need a bit more oil in there, to be honest. We need the full quart.
Now, you mentioned that this is actually reused fry oil, right?
Yes. This is from our previous frying attempt for the tempura.
Ah.
And I'm pretty sure that we can get another use out of this. Of course, I'm not staying around in the office until the fry oil cools all the way down to put it back into the office. But before Rhythm Cafe on Sunday, I'm going to be coming back in with a funnel and a filter to run the oil back through into the bottle.
When you're looking at it from straight up and down, the interference patterns that the oil makes as the different the different layers are heating up at different speeds.
Isn't it gorgeous?
The convection currents, I guess they are.
Yeah. But yeah, going to reiterate for the people out there, the reason that deep frying is not an oil soaking. If you're doing it correctly, it's not going to soak your food with oil, because that high temperature of the oil is going to cause the water in the food to evaporate, forming a barrier against the oil. The steam of the water will push the oil away from the surfaces, and as long as it's still cooking, then you're not soaking in. Which is why it's important to get up to proper temperature before you're cooking. I'm looking directly at you, regular sausage guy. Thank you, Rexidecimal. The Leidenfrost effect, yes.
I see. So, right. So, as opposed to say boiling it, you're not boiling it in oil.
You're essentially steaming it.
Right.
Just
yeah.
replacing the water with oil too.
So
And not
the
even
temperature. So the temperature is much higher than it would be otherwise.
Yes. Yeah. and there's, because of the thermal mass of the oil, it's going to it's not going to cool down as much. It's essentially like cooking something in an oven or an air fryer, but replacing the air with oil.
We've secretly replaced his air with oil. Let's see if he notices. He noticed.
Yeah. Please do not do not oxygenate your oil. That will cause it to go rancid. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, I do not have my thermometer with me, so we're going to have to use the old-fashioned methods of, different old-fashioned methods of figuring out what temperature things are.
Stick your finger in it?
God, no, Paul! No, the trick that I've been told many times is you take a piece of bread and you toss it in, and if it starts bubbling and floating to the top, then it's hot enough. Thankfully, this is supposed to be set to a temperature, 355, which is about where we want our oil to be in anyway. So I'm just kind of I'm stalling for time, letting the oil come up to temperature. And hopefully it will be. Once we've given it a couple more seconds, I'm going to toss a piece of bread in, and we'll see if it starts frying.
Of course, there's on a frying pan, there's the trick of like a little a few drops of water will sort of skitter around on it.
Yeah.
Again, don't want to do that.
No. And in fact, yeah. But you do that's an important point, though. When you're heating pans, like a cast iron or whatnot, and you do want to add oil to it to work with, I recommend heating the pan first and then adding the oil to it afterwards. Because you can use that little that little water trick without having to worry about adding some water to your hot oiled pan.
Random question for Paul. How do you avoid the overhead camera being toasted? To be honest, it's not something I've thought of too much up until right now.
Well,
I feel like it's probably high enough above the pot that it's not getting that much heat straight up onto it.
The diffusion is definitely, even here, there's barely any heat coming out of there at all.
Like it's like the ceiling in this room is a good 9 or 10 feet up. So
if anything, I would worry more about the exhaust and any smoke or even just particulates wafting up into it. But it is slightly offset from the camera. The camera is about here, and the pot is here. But it's even if there is a little bit of oil wafting up, that's nothing a Kim wipe can't take care of. Quite well, in fact. All right, I think it's time for us to check. It looks like to me the eddies and the currents have been. Let's use the spider to just agitate a bit. See how it goes. I wonder who first called it a spider.
I'll be honest. For me, it's you. I've never heard that term before.
Okay. A spider web makes sense. Also, yes, Captain Asparagus. Yes, we came into some Kim wipes recently, and I got to introduce most of the crew to the magic that is Kim wipes. All right, let's toss it in. I think we might be at temperature. There's certainly some bubbling happening there. Let's see how that goes. 1 minute, 30-second timer. Even if we just let it go for a bit, it's not going to be a problem. But it's floating, it's bubbling, It looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do.
I didn't hear much in the way of like sizzling, but is that not necessarily?
Very small amounts of sizzling. I'll just go listen to it. Wait, boiling oil. Yeah, there's a slight sound, but you probably can't hear it over the cooling of the induction machine. The Fluffy Skinny Pig says they use Kim wipes on equipment at work, veterinary clinics, so it's just using them as a substitute for paper towels or something. I mean, they're very dust-free and very anti-scratch, so they're often used in film production for cleaning lenses and screens too, but mainly the lenses because they are, again, extremely clean. But yeah, they're essentially a perfectly clean tissue. Hey, here we go. And time is done at 1 minute 30 seconds, which is about the 2-minute mark, I believe. And look at that. That's the back side of it. That's not the crust side. Whoops. Goodbye.
I mean, you're basically just making French fries at this point.
Ooh, with wheat instead of potato. You know what? I'm gonna salt that and have a little snack. Should have brought the salt grinder and not the kosher salt. Oh well. Okay, I guess that means it's time to start frying. So let's start with the triangles, and let's give it a nice little coat there on the. You know what?
Sesame seed down or up?
Sesame seed down to start, apparently. Let's get them all coated first, so we can just get them all in at the same time rather than having to spend time between ones. They're certainly not hurting for sesame seeds too, so let's go ahead and give that a full coat on all those guys. Yeah, there we go.
Now, from what I understand, with one of the tricks with deep frying is that if you don't want to put in too much at once, because it'll crash the temperature of the oil, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you probably want a few seconds between each drop, but these have also had enough time to come up to room temperature, so it's not like you're dropping a huge ice cube into there.
Don't drop ice cubes into your hot oil either. That's a terrible idea.
Yep.
And if you're going to deep fry your turkey, thaw it first.
Yes. Thaw your turkey for deep frying. Do not thaw your turkey for oven baking. Okay, there's one.
Ooh, very
2,
very crackly.
3, 4. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna back off.
Oh, I can smell it in here.
1 minute 45-second timer.
I'm amazed that all that stuff is sticking so well to the bread.
It's doing its best. Oh yeah, this is shedding a good amount of sesame seeds, which is to be expected. Okay, I think let's flip it over and see.
Isn't this sesame oil in the first place?
No, this is vegetable oil, canola specifically. Yeah. Okay, get over. No.
Uh-oh. We need some ballast. Interesting. They are top heavy.
They are extremely top heavy.
Oh, I don't think they're going over.
That's all right. We can at least continue to move them and make sure that bottom edge gets a little bit of a brown to it, because they are 30 seconds away from being done, and I think even that might be
We have encountered a flaw with the open-faced version of this.
Yeah. Anyway, these are absolutely done from what it looks like, from what I can see. And they look good. They smell good.
Oh yeah, those do smell good. And I mean, look, it looks like the sesame crust mostly stayed there.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. Most of it. Just like when I'm saying there's a little bit of loss, there's just a few sesame seeds hanging out in the oil now. And again, that'll need to be filtered out later on. All right, let's try a sandwich. One minute, 30-second timer.
Now, I'm starting to think that just like, I don't know, a ham sandwich or a chicken salad sandwich. Like, would not any sandwich be better if you just deep fried it before you ate it?
Oh, Paul, I've taken to grilling a lot of my sandwiches at home, and now you've got me wondering if I could deep fry a sandwich, and I'm pretty sure I couldn't deep fry my ham sandwiches that I'm making. But yeah, the chat makes out a lot of good points there, like a Monte Cristo, as Wedge says. There are fried sandwiches out there.
Those are fried, but not deep fried.
Yes.
It'd be like, you could make like a grilled cheese sandwich like this.
Yeah.
So decadent.
Grilled cheese, yeah. Ooh, that's an interesting one.
I mean, I've had some pretty tasty grilled cheese and some pretty tasty Monte Cristos, but not deep fried.
All right, well, I'm going to flip this over here in a second, and then give it another minute or so. Okay, let's give it a flip. Oh, that is... Yep. 1 minute, 15-second timer. Yeah, that's right on the edge of right on the edge of overcooked, I think. I'm gonna take down the temperature just. The jump from 300 to 355 in temperatures is a bit of an issue.
It doesn't have a medium point.
Not in between those two. You get 140, 195, 250, 300, 355, 400, 430.
Oh. You can't just go by degree.
No. I'm sure if this were a fancier model with a more logic, I guess you could probably do that, but this one seems a bit limited in its scope. To be fair, it is a basic model, though.
Trying to see if I can find the... Oh, there we go.
Hey!
Trying to find the refresh rate. I guess it makes sense that it's 60.
Okay, so let's take that out. And let's see how that looks. Ooh, that's a
I think it might be maybe 30 seconds less.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to take it down the temperature a bit. Well, no, we can't take down the temperature too much because that will deny the Leidenfrost effect. But yeah, timing I think is the key here. So let's go.
Of course, I mean, I guess looking inside to see what the shrimpy stuff looks like, but
is going to be the key. Yeah. You know what? Let's just do that. Why would we not do that if we have the opportunity? Hello, knife. You have not cut anything since... anything but bread since, so let's bring that over here. And then bring that back over here. I'll push this forward a bit so that you can see. Let's give that a cut. Okay, yeah. So I think I'm going to pull it down to 300 anyway, because that's, I don't think that's cooked. That is not cooked at all, in fact,
Oh dear.
all the way through.
So the inside, yeah, the outside is, yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to need to give that back to the fryer for a few more seconds here. 4, 5.
We did give it kind of a medium rare effect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it ain't gonna be low and slow, but middle and middle.
5. Okay, that's 30 more seconds.
I mean, that front face of the shrimpy shrimp. I would guess that considering that they were face down, I would guess that the sesame's ones are probably fine.
Probably, yeah. I think without the extra layer of bread to help them. Okay, we got down to 300. Let's try a second one here. See how it goes. Again, we want another minute 30 seconds. I might try flipping this one over a few more times as it goes. In fact, like right now.
This kind of reminds me of those like machines that make the little mini donuts that like go along in the hot oil, and then there's like an arm that flips them over. Just drown it in oil.
Yep.
Who needs flipping?
I mean, that way you can cook both sides, right? If I had brought a spoon, I'd probably be spooning things over. Okay, that's 30 seconds. Another minute 30 seconds. It shouldn't be as brown as the other one, but you definitely want it golden. Got another 2 seconds on that. It's going to let this sit here for another couple seconds while I cut into this other one and see how we did. Seems like it's probably good, so I'm going to leave that one be. Flip this again. And another, it's been 3 minutes, so that should be cooked through all the way.
Oh, it's amazing that I was thinking that like dropping it down to 300 degrees, it would take quite a while for the sort of thermal mass of the oil to get down. But you can see it's already like even being in there for longer, it's nowhere near as brown.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we, all of the thermal mass that was in the oil previously from 355 went into the sandwich. Let's get that in there. Yeah, I think we're still okay with 300 right now as it stands.
Yeah, it's still bubbling away.
Yeah, okay. 1 minute 30-second timer. Yeah, people saying you can cut them into triangles now. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
I want the fancy AI stuff to be like, once you've set that timer a few times, being like, looks like you're making shrimp toast.
Yes, Siri. mean, I guess that was kind of the dream of the olden days of AI on computers, is that your computer could see everything that you're doing on it and know, like, oh, you were making shrimp toast because you've got this recipe open. And on your other computer over here, you're making timers, which seem like the same timers you'd use in shrimp toasts.
Yeah, I remember in the heady days of internet-connected fridges. There was this idea that like it could scan all the food that you put into it and then like tell you recipes that you could use.
Yep.
But the actual implementation of that is like, so what? How does it, like, you need to have like a barcode reader thing or something? It's got to know, like, the actual implementation of it never really worked out.
Yeah, I don't want to scan all my groceries at the grocery store and then also at my fridge.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 minute 30-second timer. 3 minutes seems to be the time people keep talking about in this. So I feel like the sesame seeds, probably we made the appropriate amount if we'd made all triangles, but we didn't. That's all right though. As I said, these they're starting to get old, so need to use the amount that I've got. Let's do one more flippy dippy before. Oh, that's a good color. Yeah, that's gonna be good. I was gonna say, I wonder if these are too done, the triangles, but I'm sure they'll be fine. Oh, I should have been salting some of these.
Oh, it's the caramel all over again.
I mean, hey, that caramel did turn out to be pretty okay in the end.
It was very delicious.
I mean, evidence of it being delicious, it disappeared. It took a couple weeks, but you know what? It's caramel. You can only eat so much of that at once.
Well, it was that thing where, like, it was basically like nobody touched, like, it was sort of out there, and you said, like, hey, there's some caramel there if anybody wants it.
Yep.
And it stayed there pretty much intact until, you know, one chunk got taken out of it, like a little perfect square, and then another chunk, and then
the rest
chunk,
of
and then another chunk,
And then the rest of the flock knows it's safe, and so they're...
Yeah. Nobody wants to be
1
the
minute
first
30-second
person.
timer. Yeah. I even sent a company-wide, well, not an email, but... Ooh. Time to wash my salt cellar.
I mean, I will say it's not like a strict policy here at Binary Trousers Media, but I will say company-wide, Slack messages tend to get a lot more traction if they are, hey, this food is in the kitchen.
Yes, food or swag related.
Yeah.
Oh. You ever look at something and know that it's dangerous? Like, I'm looking at the sandwich right now that's in here, and it's spitting oil directly at my face, and I had the feeling in the pit of my stomach, not unlike what one would get staring down the barrel of a gun, loaded or otherwise, because treat every gun like it's loaded, treat every oil on the stove like it's hot.
It's a bit of Call of the Void.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was very much a, hey, back off just a bit here. 1 minute, 30-second timer.
some deep lizard brain. This is dangerous.
Yeah. Definitely the smell of shrimp.
It does smell very tasty.
And also, if I'm correct, a different smell than the tempura as well.
When you said that your cutting board was a yaoi paddle, I didn't actually realize it was actually.
Oh, Paul, that's not mine. That belongs to Bionic Trousers Media.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good. Good. Glad we have that.
Yeah, I pulled it out of the kitchen and turned it over. That was the mistake. Yaoi is just Japanese for canoe enthusiasts, so it's not really an issue.
Mm.
All right, let's throw that over. I mean, I don't know who is the person who came up with this, but for a certain anime fan of a certain vintage, this is a really good joke.
Yaoi means canoe enthusiast?
Well, no, just the
the yaoi cutting board?
Yeah. The yaoi means canoe enthusiast was something Beej and I came up with way back in the day to, in case a media reporter ever questioned why people were carrying all of these paddles that said yaoi on them.
Oh, that was for the anime convention circuit.
Exactly, yeah. All right. Well, that's... Nope, got to push it down so it's touching the paper, so it's wicking off.
That oil is definitely a lot darker than it was before.
Sure is, and I'm not concerned about that, but it is definitely darker. Like I said, we're probably only going to get that one more use out of that oil in the future. If we even do that. Okay.
Are those just extra triangles you have there?
Yeah, they're just extra triangles that we had. I'm not going to bother with those. Although no, I'm not even going to bother with the soldiers right now. What I am going to do is grab one of these golden brownie boys that we've. Don't forget to salt the new one.
No, we didn't check those ones for doneness.
No, and that's why I'm going to pick one that has just come off here, or hasn't just come off, but has had a chance to sit, and we're going to cut that open and see what it looks like. And then maybe have ourselves a little taste. So that seems definitely more cooked. It's not the homogeneous paste that I've seen in other videos, but it does exist. And of course, just going to bring it down here because we all have to be given the ASMR of how crispy that is. Dumb as hell. Okay. Time to try it. Did we succeed or did we not? Good smell.
Mm-hmm. Good crunch.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Hello.
Is the inside warm?
Well, the inside is absolutely warm and hot, in fact. If anything, I think what I need to do next time is cut the vegetable just a bit smaller, so that we can paste it. I think, honestly, maybe doing this in a food processor is the correct call.
Doing the paste?
Yeah, just to do a full paste, but...
or maybe like doing everything in the food processor except for the shrimp?
Maybe? I think putting the shrimp in there too is having that full paste interior that's sort of like a hamburger patty is what I was seeing earlier. But dang, that is good already. Okay, what we're going to do here then, set that aside, and I'm also going to try the triangle ones. And I don't know if there's a beach still in the building, but
That's got a slightly different kind of crunch sound.
Okay. I can see the differences between the two of these. And the sesame absolutely tastes a lot like sesame.
It's a little overwhelming.
I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, but it's definitely, it's a lot. Gonna add that to there to the point. So what I'm going to do here is cut up another one of these here. Actually, I'm going to give you the most recent one. Yep. And you'll get a crust. And I'm going to go deliver this to... I'm going to go deliver this to Paul. Beej, grab a chair.
Oh, get a chair. All right.
And these are for you.
Ooh. Ooh. I've got, all right. Oh, this looks delicious. I'm trying to do this without getting it on my keyboard.
There is absolutely a lot of crunch and crumb that's going to come out of that.
All right, here. I'll get some crunch on this mic right here.
Oh, I could hear that on the speaker in the room.
Yeah, come around this side. Why not?
Oh, that is tasty.
I don't know what the safest side to sit on is.
Yeah, I don't think there is a safe side.
Okay.
I think you're...
Nice spider.
Thank you. Were you listening earlier?
No.
See?
What?
Apparently I'm the weird one for calling this a spider.
It's a spider.
Yes, it's a spider.
All right.
That's what you use.
I didn't say you were a weird one.
Oh no, you didn't, Paul. But I've been watching the chat.
I just said that was you're the first one I've heard call it that.
Because getting a strainer or a cage strainer or a handled sieve or whatever you want to call them, it's like every other place people have always referred to them as just spiders is what I've always heard. So
Also, in getting bees to corroborate what you're doing does not make it not weird.
Touche.
yeah, fair.
Especially with the two of you, because if it was something weird, if you were doing something weird, then the weird part is probably because it's an in-joke between the two of you.
Yeah. All right,
Which
fair.
reminds me, I gave Paul the canoe enthusiast cutting board.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Great, awesome. So what do I start with?
Whatever you like. That's going to be a little bit darker because that was a hotter fry, but...
Oh, wow.
The salt on the outside gives it a nice, you get the salt first, and then you get the crunch, and then the shrimp comes in afterwards.
Wow. I didn't pay any attention to how you made any of this.
Oh no, you don't need to.
Okay. Do you deep fry the whole thing?
Yes.
I see.
They were breaded, cut to remove the crusts, and then filled with shrimp paste, garlic, chives, egg, a little bit of cornstarch,
Nice.
fried.
Wow.
Yeah, this is my first time having it as well. This is interesting.
Now, Ian, would you call this too crispy for regular crispy day? It does seem very crispy.
But I would absolutely call this a regular crispy. Because the thing about the regular crispy day is it's celebrating the natural and the usual amount of crispiness. If we were to take this and then bread it with another layer of egg and panko on top of it,
Right.
to extra crispy, that would be extra crispy.
Right. Man.
That would be really too crispy when you.
Now you brought soy sauce. Is that an option? Is that a thing that you dip
If you'd
into?
like, no. Optionally, people make dips for this with mayo and hot chili paste.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
And I could see that actually going well with the sandwich-based ones.
I could definitely see, like
Pass me the soy sauce.
all the flavors are like relatively subtle. Mm-hmm. So I could see a some sort of dip could be quite nice.
Yeah, having a dip or any sort of emulsion to coat this would be. Ooh, I'm hating myself for thinking it. Ranch.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ranch would be real good on this.
Yeah, for all the crap we give people about ranch dressing, I mean, it is a condiment.
And it's a flavor.
All right.
I like dill.
But ranch is not like a popular thing in Canada. Like it's not like when you order your French fries to bring you a thing of ranch on the side or some crap like that. No, that's not how that rolls.
No. We get the fancy aiolis up here anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
We know, John.
Here's we had the sandwich crunch. Here's the alternative sesame seed crunch. Here we go.
It's such a good crunch over the mic.
Get those on the get them on the soundboard.
Yeah, it's it's a little bit more like a treble in the crunch. I think. Yeah, a little higher pitched.
Can you set up a repeating delay with like an echo on it? How much time would it take to do that?
The answer is too much, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
So happy though with it?
This is really good. Yeah, but it is really rich.
It's a lot, yeah. I thought I would be able to eat more than I did, and I can't.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can have this other piece.
Yeah.
Actually, wait. I do. Beej, your mic
Oh yeah.
is actually currently programmed for echo.
Okay.
Turn on.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just give me the heads up.
Go for it.
Anything? Did it come through at all?
A little bit. A little
Okay.
bit. It's like you're eating in a cave.
Oh, okay. Cool. It's so rich.
It was maybe not the. I
Yeah.
feel like it maybe the echo that I had turned on for like I think for epic speech might not be quite the right echo for crunching.
Plato's allegory of the crunch.
I feel like if I was like empty stomached, I could probably eat the whole one sandwich. But at the end of that, I'd be like, I'm done.
Or maybe like, and that's why I think the people keep talking about these miniature triangular ones as the ones to go for.
Okay.
Because you can eat one and feel like, oh, this isn't so bad. Maybe I can have another one.
Oh right, yeah. I assumed that this darker bread was like an actual like rye or something.
Oh yeah, no, that was just it.
Spent too long in the.
Well, we had it. I think what happened is we had it too high of a temperature, and so it ended up browning the bread. Like, if you'd like to try one of the brown bread
Sure,
ones,
yeah, why not?
we had it too high, and so we had to send it back into the fryer to actually cook the internals at a lower temperature.
Okay.
So that's kind of a double fried.
The shrimp on this one is much more present. Like it's much more.
Really?
Yeah, because the shrimp I found on the lighter ones, the shrimp is just kind of like cooked through and falling apart. This is much more like firm.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I got to stop eating this because
Yeah.
I'm gonna have digestive issues if I keep going.
No, that's
It's a lot of oil.
I was going to say the premise of the oil won't get into it because it's going to be hot enough and the Leidenfrost effect or whatever has not quite
Born out.
borne out. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's no oil.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
less than you think.
It's not a sponge, like by all means. It definitely isn't a sponge, but yeah.
Yeah. But I think that was a successful run. And I think that's going to do it for this episode here of Tinker, Tailor, Solder, Fry. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, especially those of you at home. Those of you who are members of the Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. We really appreciate it when you get to get money taken out of your bank account because you signed up for patreon.com/loadingreadyrun and it comes to us. But we appreciate all the support that you give us, whether it's just watching at home, hanging out, lurking in the chat, chatting away, telling your friends, watching us on YouTube, whatever you like. It all really helps us. Of course, store.loadingreadyrun.com gets you a link to places where you can get stuff directly from us. So, from myself, from Paul over in Tech, and a special guest appearance from Beach, we're going to say that's it for Tinker, Tailor, Solder, Fry. We'll see you in a fortnight, never in fortnight, ever forward, learning out of spite. Good night.
Until next time.